from Ohio, Mr. Carey. Give him time to sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ranker. So in June of 2021, the EPA announced that $50 million from the American Rescue Plan would go to fund environmental justice initiatives. This money from a law that was supposedly meant for COVID relief went to environmental, climate-related programs across the country. For example, some of the money went to the city of Milwaukee for, quote, outreach and education through a Healthy People Homes and Neighborhood campaign. Last month, you guys, the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, put out a report that called for flexible recovery funds because it offers states a tool to advance environmental justice. Congressional Democrats and the Biden administration's federal guidance for the state and local dollars use was purposely vague so that it could be used to advance their Green New Deal. In addition, $30 billion with a B was allotted through the American Rescue Plan for mass transit system improvements to reduce emissions. Not sure how that falls in line with COVID. So it's obviously that the American Rescue Plan looked to fund the administration's new Green Deal, doling out billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, with little guidance on how those dollars should be used. So my question to you, Mr. Moore, how do you think this money allotted for climate change has contributed to the runaway inflation that we're now seeing?
Well, there's no question that climate change funding was a huge part, especially of the $1.1 trillion, well, I call it the Green New Deal bill, but they call it infrastructure bill. Look, when you raise energy prices, which is what we've been doing as we're trying. I mean, look, Biden's been very clear on this. He wants to go to zero on oil and gas development in the United States by 2030. So when you think about it, I mean, the high oil and gas price is something the Biden administration wants. They don't want people to use oil and gas. So a good way to do that is to raise the price of it. But my point is, when energy prices go up, the gas price, I'll tell you, I have a friend who, for example, I'll just give you one story. My friend owns restaurants, kind of middle income, like Denny's and Red Lobsters and so on. And he said, Steve, I can tell you what my sales the next week in my store will be based on what the gas price is today. In other words, I think a lot of people don't realize that 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And if the gas price goes up, I'm just using this one as an example, he said, they won't have the money to go to Red Lobster. They have to take the family to McDonald's or something like this. So this is why all this talk about inequality, inflation is the ultimate regressive tax that hurts the people at the bottom. That's why it's so inexcusable that we're allowing this to continue to go on and pretending that somehow we're helping the lowest income people, when in fact we're doing great damage to their living standards. And incidentally, I'll make this prediction, and Mr. Chairman, if I'm wrong, I will eat my words, but in 6 months, we're gonna see a huge increase in the poverty rate in this country, huge, because people's incomes can't keep pace with a 9% inflation rate. They just can't.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I will tell you, I think we all know the term energy poverty. And I think what we're going to see, as you mentioned, in the next 6 months, we could see that. Again, I think what were some of the things, and we only have a minute, unfortunately, but we're going to see probably gas go up to $6 a gallon.
I hope not.
The cost of obviously domestic oil and gas recovery is limited. It's going up as everything else is. What do you think the rescue plan should have been focused on with domestic energy?
Drill. Use everything we've got. All of the above American strategy. I mean, I talked to Trump many times about this. It was basically, I used to say we can be energy independent with the right strategy. He said, I want America to be energy dominant. We should be. We have more oil and gas and coal than any other country in the world. We have 300 years worth of natural gas. We have 250 years worth of oil. We have 600 years worth of coal. We have the cleanest energy in the world. It makes no sense that we've shut down so much of our energy supply. I find it tragic.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.